LGD.
Really? Wow.
Newbie versus Hellraiser, it's 1-1.
Oh, newbie.
Newbie. Ehome versus Rave, it's 2-1 for Rave, of course.
I'll take Ehome.
Cool.
Okay.
Excellent.
So
The game has loaded.
Whoa!
Here we go.
So a lot of good storylines. EG undefeated. Navi undefeated yesterday.
Yes.
And
That's
we-
actually good.
Yeah.
And
Well,
only
good job.
defeated on day one.
And only defeated. And
Not in the
victory.
meaning of that was the only time they were defeated, but they were strictly defeated on day one. So 0-3 to 4-3. Is this another good day or another bad day? What do you think? Do you think it matters for the rest of the day whether they win or lose this game?
I think Navi are one of those teams that don't get on tilt. Like they can play good or bad, but I haven't seen Navi saying, "Oh, they lost this game," then they suddenly proceed to lose everything. So even if they lose against EG, that's not going to impact the rest of the day for them.
Okay.
I mean, they have Harry Potter.
They do.
We do have
He's
the
consistent.
Harry versus Draco in the mid lane.
Indeed.
Now the next question is, what's your Patronus?
next question is
Ooh. Well, let's see.
the next
No.
question is what's
Please,
going
I know
on in
it's
the
in
draft?
draft.
That's right. What's going on in the draft is the question. We can show you because they've banned out Troll for Evil Geniuses. It's going to be the first overall ban. I think it's Navi's best hero. So I agree 100% with this ban. EG will have the overall first pick, so I wouldn't be surprised to see an IO ban. Maybe, or just have we seen
EG have been
play them?
ignoring Io.
I think, yeah, maybe
There was
not,
even one
actually.
game I remember commenting on. I can't remember who they're versing, but Io was not banned or picked by either team.
Oh, they're going to ban it. Yeah.
But
They don't
EG will
play it
ban
then.
it themselves. Yeah.
I don't think PPD or Aoi are particularly
Neither.
good IO players.
Yeah.
It's still somewhat of a weakness in the metagame when it's such a high tier pick and you can't use it, because then they have to ban it as first pick, which is a little annoying because then Navi don't have to,
predictable.
right?
Yeah.
That allows Navi to ban a Beastmaster, for example, because they don't need to use a ban on the IO, and then they ban the Bad Rider, which
Bad
we've seen
Rider.
a lot. So,
Axe is there.
Axe, Jugger, Shadow Fiend,
Shadow
I think
Fiend
will
Chen.
be the absolute first pick here for Evil Geniuses, or Chen.
Whoa!
Chen for Aoi. Do you think we see Den DSF?
We could. I think if Navi are worried about it, they definitely consider taking. The problem is then EG can also run the Lycan if they want to just go to like a Chen Lycan instead, and they are on the dire side. But
Yeah. Well, if they don't take it, EG will take it for sure
Mm.
at this point.
Omnislash doesn't one-shot kill Chen scripts, right?
No.
No, that's something I was questioning
Yeah.
the other day as
Yeah.
well.
I don't think Jug is good at all into Chen.
Yeah.
I think that's a mistake, despite the hero being as kind of as popular as he is right now.
Yep.
Axe is good, though.
Axe is good.
He's good against Chen, I would say.
Oh,
There you
yeah.
go.
Yeah.
It's
They also get like a Rubik second pick. They one of the few teams who will prioritize the Vengscore Rubik kind of early on, but
there's no really obvious reason to get it against how EG play, I think. There's... Oh, well, actually, to an extent, because they do like to sometimes play those big ultimate lineups, but with Aoi on the Chen, there's not going to be an Enigma, for example, later on.
Yeah.
So maybe you hold the Rubik for now. You could choose to get the Shadow Fiend.
Gee,
I
the
honestly
Shadow Fiend
wouldn't
with
mind.
Axe is pretty good.
It's really
Yeah.
good. And I would be pretty surprised, actually, if EG don't get it after this. So if Navi don't want it, they should counterpick the Shadow Fiend now, so that they don't get that counterpick banned out. Maybe you get the... Oh, maybe you counterpick the Chen as well. You could get AA if you wanted now.
You know what I just realized? This is going to be an inside joke, but it's Axe versus his mother. So, syndereN, I guess I can't really explain. It won't be funny, but I
it's
have
one of those
never
jokes.
laughed
That yesterday,
hard.
the
Yeah.
high cast.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
You can't really retell
I
the
was
jokes
literally
again.
crying. I've never cried on stream before, but it was good. They're going to get Rubik.
So you were right. They do pick it. I am not
They don't-
sold on this.
they don't pick it for the ultimate. I feel like it's just a comfort pick. They like to Vengscore just moves around the map a lot, creates a lot of space.
I want to draw a little more on...
Why aren't you so? What do you think's like the reasons not to pick the hero this early?
I just think they... Unless if they really don't like playing Shadow Fiend, it's kind of playing into EG's hand, I think. Like this. Shadow Fiend is... Rubik is okay against him, I guess. You can steal Requiem, and you're also fairly good at ganking him early on, but you're playing into a lineup with Chen that can help Shadow Fiend from level 1. He just gets a creep and goes in, then you can't really gank Shadow Fiend so easily. So, I don't know. It might work out later on. But what I want to draw a little attention to, it was a thing I mentioned yesterday. I feel like people completely forget Nullfield exists when they talk about Rubik. They talk about the lift, they talk about the Fate Bolt for depushing and for reducing damage in teamfights, and then, of course, Spell Steal is the big thing. But don't forget Nullfield when it gets leveled up. It's a 20% magic resistance aura. It's really powerful. It has a 900 radius, which means you can
It
imagine
wo-
how much that spans.
Yeah.
It's really big. But he generally levels it last.
Yeah.
And that means he needs to get high levels before it comes into play. But then, if that was something in Navi's considerations here, why would they... Again, there's nothing that indicates that EG are taking their lineup in
Is
a
it
heavy magic
possible
damage direction.
that this is a Dendi Rubik?
No.
No.
It's not
We've
impossible.
seen
I mean,
that
it
recently,
But
though.
it's unlikely.
Not
Yeah.
this tournament, but
I mean, yeah, by the
I would
nature of
love
what
to
it
see
means
that.
to be impossible, it's not, but it's pretty impossible. It's...
I do like the SUNSfan. It's targeted not only at Fanic, but also it's a very good pick against Chen. So it's a 2-for-1
Yeah.
double whammy. Good ban. Lone Druid. EG is the only team that's picking it. Someone else picked it? Lone Druid?
Not a game that I was...
I
No,
think
I
it's
don't
only
think so.
EG.
I'm really happy to see teams pick it, because it was regarded as one of the absolute worst heroes in competitive Dota right now, which I personally didn't agree with, so I'm happy to see at least one team making use of it and still finding ways for Lone Druid to be effective. And it works, right? If you force out a ban on that hero, it's obviously valuable. Just like when Secret forced out a ban on Techies.
Yeah.
That was very valuable too.
That's
So
it.
how... Okay, so
How lost with Lone Druid.
newbie played Lone Druid.
Yeah, that's not indicative of anything.
That's not so indicative at this moment.
yeah, I mean, it's just
Without
Hufflepuff
being
after
harsh,
all.
that's just how
Yes,
things are
yes,
right
yes.
now.
Yeah.
They can pick a lot of different stuff, and it just hasn't really worked so well. So
The TA ban aimed towards Dandy as well. TA
probably
matches very well against Shadowfiend.
yes.
So it's good to get rid of.
It's one of the best, as a matter of
I
fact.
think so,
against
yeah.
Shadowfiend in lane.
Navi-
Shadowfiend based on single
How do you
target
think
burst.
Quap does versus Shadowfiend in lane?
She wins in the start, but if she doesn't get far enough ahead, it's a draw. Then Shadowfiend will just raise out the wave and get runes.
Right.
And she needs to pressure him on like level 1 and 2 from her cliff. The problem is there's a Chen, so if they see that being a problem, they will just send a tornado creep mid. And then
I think rather than look to try to get a lane dominator, they may just pick something like the Dendi Magnus and not worry about too much about winning the lane. They may go for like a gank with the Rubik or something. And once Dendi hits 6, you can kill the SF anyway.
Okay, is a Revolts Juggernaut?
With
I
the
was-
Jug pick, I'm pretty confident they're going into Magnus as their 4.
Yes, I was actually going to mention if they go for Magnus, they're probably thinking of a melee core, and Juggernaut is their most successful one. Even though it's not that good against Chen, I still think for Navi, staying inside their comfort zone and just picking the heroes they've been successful with for now can work. Yes.
If they're going for Magnus, isn't this again another good game for Team Ursa if you're EG? Since you have 3 cores, I mean Juggernaut is not a strength core, but it's a melee hero, and you have a Magnus, you have a Juggernaut, you have an Axe.
The difference between this game and the one that Secret played is that one of the supports is Rubik, who is actually fairly good against Timbersaw. He can lift after the chain is thrown, and then he never connects with the tree. It's an instant stun. It's a pretty good spell steal too. Timbersaw, you can get some nice stuff. Chakram is a great spell steal.
So it's going to be a Clockwork, it's not going
Yeah.
to be a...
Yeah, I don't think Timbersaw would have been bad per se, but it wouldn't have been as good as I thought it was in the Secret game, which I still
I
lost.
think an Ancient Apparition would be really good for both teams, honestly.
Yeah,
Yep.
I could see that. Maybe less so for EG, because AA as solo lane support is it's not as powerful as if you can use the Chilling Touch in lane and make ganks with it. I think for Navi it's actually really nice. That would be a way of maybe smoking the Shadowfiend level 1, just kill him off.
Yeah,
and
I think
then
it's really
keeping
nice.
his lane.
It's not like something Go like does. He's like more likely to go for a dual off lane with the Abaddon plus Axe, or like something. It's something just a dual lane with the Axe, and then have the Rubik Juggernaut as a dual lane itself. It's not really the.
Could
Navi
this be a
way.
Dendi Axe? Have we seen Dendi play
I think
Axe?
Funnick plays it every time.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure. And mid lane Axe against Shadowfiend is suicide. Well, he can get a little farm in the start, but he gets destroyed by the raises. He has to go in melee range for farm. That's what Shadowfiend likes. So I would be very surprised if they do that, and I think they stick to their guns. I would say for me the most likely pick is Magnus. However, Clockwork, pretty good counter. If you see Magnus, you throw a rocket at him, and you
That's a
can
Quap.
hook shot to disrupt him, and they're going to get Quap instead. So, hero that Bruno you mentioned,
Yeah.
you asked how well it does against Shadowfiend. I think Dendi's playstyle is the best for Quap versus SF matchup. He plays aggressive early on, pressures a little bit, and then he
Lot
holds,
of denies.
holds the lane and denies all the time. But it's not enough if Chen helps out early on. Then it doesn't really matter how good you are. The mid one-on-one can almost always be won by the player who has a Chen on his side.
And Sumail, like his creep blocks his tournament. It's such a small thing to bring up, but like every time I've watched
Yeah.
him just creep block, it's
He
just
wins.
first creep wave on his hill. And you can't even walk up for a shadow strike when the SF is at his tower. Otherwise, you get in tower range. Like he blocks it such that it's
Do you think
just out of tower range.
it's worth for Rubik say like, please put a high ground ward on mid? just so that
At
you
level
can shadow
1?
strike. Yeah, so just so that you can shadow strike the Shadow Fiend.
I don't know if you want to from minute 1. It's going to be what SF on the dire side. So
But the ward doesn't help, right?
I mean, you can cast it. That's a
it's It's
But
more
if the creep
it's the
waves
position
clash,
of the SF.
if
How
the
is
creep waves
Vengeful
clash on
Spirit
his
still
hill, he has
available?
vision anyway from his creeps. So the vision is not the issue.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
just the general lane position.
the thing is, like, yeah, if it's on East Cliff, it's fine. But like, whenever it's on the
in the river.
river.
Yeah. It can be okay.
Whoa! Here's
whoa.
the Necrophos.
All right.
That's a Fear Necro, and I don't know how Venge is still
No.
available. I figured she'd be banned in the first phase, but especially to go along with Shadow Fiend.
Yeah, I think for EG, Vengeance.
That would be a perfect. I know PPD plays that a lot as well.
EG are going to ban AA now. It's just too good of a pick. It's extremely good with everything Navi have and against everything EG has. I don't see a better pick.
There's the
There's
Venge
the
ban,
Venge
That's
and now comes the AA ban.
It-
And we are.
I would be pretty certain.
Yep. Wow.
Okay, so plan B for Navi, they need a support. They could try, if they want, I wouldn't be against the idea of running an Enigma jungle. I think they could pull that off. There is Hookshot as a counter to the Black Hole, and there is Reaper's Scythe, which is very unreliable. Apart from that can work. We'll be able to jungle, because Evil Genius's aggressive potential is terrible. They cannot run aggressive lanes. Chen has to play in his jungle. He will not be able to invade against a Rubik Enigma, especially not when the safe lane here is a Juggernaut, who can easily come out and help gank. So I would say, if you're Navi now, you go greedy. Either that, or you get something like a Bounty Hunter, and you just run after the Chen and annoy the crap out of him all early game, and then you take off in mid game when you have track. I would like that idea too, actually.
Can you offensive try with if you're a Navi and put the Axe 1v1 versus a clock?
Yes.
yeah.
But okay, that might be what they want to do. I think that's a little bit risky, because if you want to, whenever you run an aggressive tri-lane into a lineup with Chen, especially now that Chen has 2 creeps on level 3, that's like the least margin for error you have. If you
Right.
lose that tri-lane, the game is lost. Almost. Like, it's 90% win in a try versus try where you lose to the dual lane with a jungler early on, and you have supports like Rubik and Dazzle who need levels. Aggressive tri-lanes generally don't give the supports that many levels, which is fine if the enemy supports also don't get them, but this Chen will find stuff, especially when played by Aoi. He's a very good Chen player. He generally makes the right decisions, and let's say they run an aggressive tri-lane. Aoi can just be like, okay, you can have it. I'll go in the enemy jungle, and then he can win bottom lane for the clockwork.
How's Witch Doctor
And
here
mid lane
for
for
EG
Shadow.
as the last pick?
I think it's probably one of the better options. Like you want something that can actually zone alright and
Synergizes really well with Clockwork as well inside those
What were you
cogs.
saying? Sorry.
Witch
the
Doctor.
Which Doctor? Yeah. The other thing that you can
I like
do
Skywrath.
is maybe
Yeah, Sky is good too.
if you're very confident the Navi is not going to offensive try. Well, no, sorry.
Or Disruptor.
Never mind. Yeah, Disruptor is fine.
Okay, so there's one problem here for EG, which is in the very early stages of the game, their lockdown is very lackluster.
And
It's somewhat similar to the strategies we've seen run by Team
Secret.
Secret, where they do the Chen Shadow Fiend, don't have too much disable. The difference, however, in their strats is that the other heroes generally Zai either plays a Broodmother or a really good fighting hero in the offlane who does a lot of damage on his own, and then they put S4 on a mid hero who deals a lot of damage. This time around, or sorry, not necessarily mid hero. It depends if they play the Shadow Fiend mid, but then this time the support Disruptor does not have that good damage output in the early stages of the game. Neither does Clockwork. He needs levels to be able to rather set up for the team than be the big damage dealer for the team. So EG are kind of low on both damage and lockdown early on, and Navi are high on both. So they could actually get off to a really good start, I think.
We'll see what happens. And with that, Gods and I are going to go to the couch seat and watch syndereN and SUNSfan cast the game of Navi versus EG. Guys, Dota Cinema, take us away.
Let's do it! Phoenix will be playing the Axe for Navi as we're going to go over their lineup. Dendi on the Quap with those beautiful wings. Vanscore, the Rubik. Dazzle's going to be played by Goblak, and that leaves the good old Chavost on the DC Jug set. I have a quick question. I don't know if you know the mechanic behind this. How does Omni-Slash interact with Glimpse? You actually should know this since you're a big Disruptor player.
If you get glimpsed and you
And then
start
you Omni-Slash
Omni-Slashing,
afterwards, yeah.
I don't think it pulls you out.
Okay.
Because it's invulnerability. It might be one of the few abilities that doesn't take you out. It's a good question. You always have these weird mechanical questions from me.
I don't know why.
Well, it's good questions to ask. There are a lot of weird interactions in the game that you can't just intuitively you can't deduct based on other things how it would work, because sometimes it's just an odd one out. But I think that's one that doesn't get glimpsed back, but I could be wrong. Maybe we see it in the game. Let's see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Okay, so for Evil Geniuses, the offlane will be played by Universe on the Clockwork. Toward the mid lane, Sumail will be playing as Shadow Fiend. What a surprise. Aoi 2000 onto Chen. Heading in towards his own jungle, together with Fear in the safe lane as Necrophos and PPD on Disruptor. Worth noting, Necrophos has 8 armor, because he starts with 2 and bought 6.
Yep, you're right. Pretty ridiculous. Pretty ridiculous. Ever since that buff, we've been seeing that a lot more, actually. Maybe not a lot, but a decent amount, the double ring of protection. And Fear's going to be squirting out those... that's our set, by the way, so I'm allowed to make fun of whatever it's leaving on the ground. He just has some bladder control or something like that. It's going to be Disruptor, Necro versus the Axe, and Dazzle. How do you think this lane's going to go?
I think.
And what is
EG's
Dazzle
lane is
level
gonna
first,
destroy
actually?
Wow, look at Funnick. Just really. He wanted those 2 last hits. He got to pay 500 health for that. I think EG are going to win this lane easily. They have a duel versus duel with 2 ranged against an Axe lane with just Dazzle protecting him, and they have a Chen jungle. So Na'Vi can't play aggressively in this lane, because there's always the threat that they get ganked from behind by Chen, and even then, with Necrophos sitting on 8 armor, their damage output is not significant enough. So easily favoring EG for this one. The mid lane, I would say Dendi is going to probably win. He's off to a really good start against Sumail. He is 7-4 against 1-0
Nothing new there.
for Sumail.
The Deny Master Dendi himself. But that's the good thing about having a Shadow Fiend mid, even if he gets dominated, he's the hero that comes back pretty easily as long as the stacks are there. And it looks as if Chen, well, he's going to be getting some levels first, but I'm sure some stacks will come for the Shadow Fiend at some point. Is this... You were talking about how Sumail has been very disciplined, in fact, that he doesn't just go for the cookie-cutter builds, like even his cookie-cutter build all the time, bases it on how the game is going. Do you think Yule's this game is the correct choice? Because more times than not, he does go it.
I think it's good when you're... We're probably going to see an Orchid on Dendi. So that's a nice way of dealing with that. In addition to that, probably... It's still a really good BKB game, though. So... Or how good is it, really, now that I look at it again? You can... Sonic Wave goes through it. So does... Well,
Right. Omni Slash.
Oh, Dendi! Whoa! Whoa, whoa, whoa. Thought he was going to have a little more health than that. He's got 20 left, so still alive, but Sumail getting close to him. I think Yule's is still good for his standard build. Yule's mech would be fine. On second thought, maybe the BKB is not worth it. Berserker's Rage goes through, Spell Suo goes through, Sonic Wave goes through, Omni Slash goes through, Weave.
What?
All of it goes
More
through.
spells than not go through, actually.
Yeah.
So.
Telekinesis he can avoid. He can avoid Shadow Strike and Scream of Pain, and of course the Blade Fury, which Juggernaut doesn't even want to use unless he has
Yeah, he's
to.
probably going to leave that on level 1
Yeah.
for the majority of the game anyway.
Maybe
Phobos for sure.
pretty bad BKB game. So I'm thinking Yule's into mech and then tank. Some sort of hybrid tank build with maybe Scotty and then damage items could be nice. Or an Ethereal Blade somewhere down the road against the Juggernaut. It's also good.
All right. Well, early on, 16-1 CS for Phobos on that Juggernaut versus Fear on the Necrolite, 13-1, so relatively even overall. Can we look at the level discrepancies between the offlaners? So the Clockwork. Wepis, you are the best, bro. There we go. 3.5. And, well, it is a dual lane, so I guess it's not easily comparable. Man, Fear, that set looks so good. Look at how it looks when it's paused. It's just glowing white. Yeah, you zoom in on that. I know you're not a big fan of the Egyptian style stuff, but I'm a sucker. I'm a sucker for it.
Why not? I like it.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Okay.
I loved Age of Mythology. Great game.
I played Age of Empires.
Also a
personally.
great game.
AoE 2. That was the best Age of
Yeah.
Empires. Then it just got
Totally.
trashy. How many did they come out with?
1,
I
2,
know there's
3,
a
and
third.
then re-roll HD version of 2 and HD version of 3, I think. And Age of Mythology, if you want to count that in the series, that was the 4th.
Like when they
Yes.
started getting to the area, like this time periods where guns were involved, it's like it's not as much fun anymore.
What game was that?
AoE 3.
Okay, they had
Age of
that.
Empires 3, yeah.
Okay. No.
Not as fun.
No.
But we're playing Dota.
Age of Empires 2 is the one that has the priests that go like, oh, la, 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 and then they mind control enemies, right? They had this very
been a while.
distinct sound that people always made fun of. I think it's that game. Where they would
I was a
mind
solo
control.
gamer back in the day, so I didn't really associate with anybody else that actually played the same games as me. So
So we were just like,
can't
this
say for
sounds
sure.
stupid, but I can't laugh at it because I'm alone.
Yeah,
and no one will
I'm not
understand why.
socializing with anybody. Just playing in my dark room in my corner.
Excellent.
We're good to go. But looking at the CS mid, 13-11 as you talked about versus 9-4. So Shadow Fiend's be able to catch up a bit. Troll Trap, is it going to connect on Dendi? It is. I don't know. Oh, this is going to be close. Centaur Stomp a little bit too late. It was out of range. And Dendi gets out yet again. But they're pressuring him, and that's the beauty of having a Chen.
Yeah, he's still ahead on CS though. I think this is the first time we see Sumail having this hard of a time in lane.
It's to be expected.
It's an unfair matchup, and Ali hasn't helped him too much until now. So he's still got 9 and 4 against Dendy's 14 and 11. So it's not terrible by any means, but Dendy is a full level ahead almost. So he will get level 6 when Sumail is level 5, and will probably be able to get a solo kill if Sumail is not careful. Dendy, I think he might already be setting up for it. He's got full mana right now. I don't think he wants to use any more mana than just a Shadow Strike, so that when he reaches 6, he can go for the snipe play, where he blink screams, Sonic Waves, and then that's actually enough right now.
And with the runes being taken by EG, he's forced to Bottle Crow, which is not exactly what he wants to do.
But at least Sumail doesn't get them.
Yeah, that is true.
Probably the most important
PPD
thing.
with
Funnick,
the invis
he's gonna
top.
see him. Sentry Ward.
Berserker's
not
Gall.
expecting
Kinetic
that
Field is
one.
placed. Is this going to be enough damage for him to get the kill? Funnick's now on the run, though, with Goblack kind of blocking his way. Thunderstrike dealing considerable amount of damage. Do they have Glimpse?
Yes, but it's level 1, and he was not in range to cast it. That could have been your first blood, but Dendy's now level 6. Here we go. He did, however, use the Scream, so does not currently have mana for the combo, as Sumail is just bottle crowing as well. Good old.
It's an old-fashioned 1v1 mid.
Yeah,
what this
same
is.
old stuff as.
At
a
what
couple
level of
months ago.
Shadow Strike? This is another random. Well, it's not that random though. What level of? Oh, we're gonna miss it. That's my fault, Wepis. I apologize. I asked the weird questions, but Juggernaut's gonna get the kill on Clockwork Bottom. What level of Shadow Strike prevents you from using bottles, like the bottle charges?
Level 1.
Is that a change? That was a recent. Not a recent change, but that's like within the last year, I think, right? 'Cause
It deals level 1 deals 30. So every 3 seconds it does a damage instance. So you can bottle between the ticks, and you always could, I think.
you always could. Are you sure about that?
I think so. So you can still bottle. You will almost get the full bottle because it lasts for 3 seconds, and you just bottle between the 2 charges, which are between the ticks of the Shadow Strike. As Dendy is gonna harass a little bit. We'll be blinking out from the 3rd raise.
Yeah, he's been taking a lot of raise damage this game, but he is out leveling Sumail, which again
I think
is
the
expected.
thing you might be thinking about is Ion Shell, which does not break bottle on level 1, for
No.
example. It
No,
breaks it on
yeah.
level 2. Because
Well,
then the
Ion
damage
Shell and
instances are
Rot.
higher.
Yeah, I just feel
Rot,
like
the same story, yes.
I feel like I don't know why I thought that was the case at some point.
But I actually I think
Funnick top lane.
yeah, he's in trouble.
Taking a lot of. He's gonna run into 2 centaurs and a troll
Oh,
trap.
he
He gets
got
a
the
nice
call
Berserker's
off.
Call. He can do a lot of damage, but the necrophyte.
Oh, that sounds nice.
I just want to call him Necrolite. Oh, Sonic Wave's gonna destroy the 2 centaurs along with the Shadow Strike on the AUI, and down he goes. Dendy, level 7 now.
That's a really good kill when you get 2 Chen creeps as well at the same time. Because not only does Chen obviously need to respawn and get back in the jungle, but he needs time. He needs to build his army again. That's another minute you buy your team without too much pressure. And to be honest, that's something Funnick will need in the top lane. This top lane is not going as well for Navi as they would have liked. Also not terribly, but it's just unwinnable. Fear is way ahead of...
Is this when Axe just goes to the jungle now? I mean, he's fully capable. He's level. Well, he's like level 5,
He's
right?
level 5. He's fully capable from level 1. Well, you mean he doesn't need regen
Oh, wait,
because
he
he has
can.
Tranquils, yeah.
Right, he can just do it a lot faster now. That's what I mean.
I wouldn't mind that, but at the same time, the question is what the price they pay is at top, because then Necrolite is obviously fully free farming, and then Chen can go elsewhere, because there's no pressure. They don't have to deal with anything top. So by being top, there's at least some sort of pressure on EG to deal with. So I think it's okay he goes back up there.
I mean, he has a Midas, so he's going to be out farming everybody on the map. What does Juggernaut have? Is he going for Midas as well in that bottom lane?
He has 1400 and phase.
He went face first. Okay.
I would disagree with Midas on Jug. I think this is where you go for the Mask of Madness build. We finally have a game where Juggernaut is off to a great start in terms of farm. This is where you build the super Jugger build. Can he get the Omni? No. Nice play by Universe.
We cast a game earlier with Universe playing Clockwork, and it usually feels like he has such a huge impact on the game regardless of what hero he plays. It was not the case, and it could have just been the one game. So we'll see if he can change perceptions on that just a bit. PPD going to secure the top rune for Sumail. It is going to be Illusions. And I'm wondering if they're stacking the jungle right now for Sumail.
Doesn't really look like it. I think Chen needs it himself.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Well, I
He
guess
does
once
look
they
pretty creepy.
perhaps start to push a lane or two with that Chen, they can maybe just start stacking up a bit. I mean, the problem for Shadow Fiend is, typically speaking, he's the one that can clear out the waves really, really
Rubik.
fast. Uh-oh.
Close to getting... Actually
Telekinesis.
does get the
He's
telekinesis.
going to turn around. Raze is going to connect on Vanscore. Not going to be able to get the kill. Universe does not have hookshot yet. But what I was going to say is his wave clear is second to none, essentially, but Queen of Pain is not that far, not that bad either. So typically you see like a Shadow Fiend clear the wave, go to the jungle, stack, get some creeps, but he doesn't have as much time with the Queen of Pain this time in the lane. And now Axe did move over to the jungle. Going to be stacking himself. He has a casual, so we saw the casual ring of health, not into Vanguard, but into Blink, and then he eventually got, I think, a heart actually.
I don't know what he needs the ring for, though.
Oh, and I'm sorry, he got a vitality booster last time. It wasn't
Yeah.
the ring. Yeah.
I think it's a mistake this time to get the Vanguard. I'm generally not that big of a fan of it because I just feel like this hero has such extreme potential with an early blink, but sometimes you can win a lane off it, like really just dominate. And if you get free farm, you're very difficult to kill in the mid game, but this Vanguard is going to come so late that EG already, they have a lot of spell damage building up slowly with Shadow Fiend with 3 raises, Necrophos ultimate. Static Storm is going to be within not too long either for KBD.
TP support top lane for the Rubik.
No, he's going to just drop a Fade Bolt here. I think. There we go.
Fade Bolt's down. Doesn't look like Chen wants to connect with them at the top lane as of yet. Dendi looking for the rune top. 10-minute rune. AUI scares the crap out of him with the 2 Centaur, 2 Trolls. And Invis rune goes to Sumail. Funnick in the meantime going to continue jungle. Has the Tranquils, and as he talked about, I guess he pretty much has to go Vanguard now because casual ring just doesn't make sense. But Juggernaut, Mask of Madness is finished. So you were correct. And at what point with Juggernaut do you just start fighting? Because this is like, it's still, in the grand scheme of things, this is still a new build, right?
Yeah, I think right now he TPs to kill. And else he just AFK farms the lane. Juggernaut, the way, with this build and the lineup he's against, I think he can hard carry this game. Which he also, by the way, has been drafted to do. So it's a hard carry Juggernaut. It's a single physical damage core for mid-late game unless you build that on Queen of Pain, which is situational, but I would say keep farming. And it looks like it's what Host wants to do as well. He's a good hero against Shadow Fiend. And that's going to be the hero they want to shut down, obviously, together with Necrophos, but they can maybe control him if Dendi goes for Orchid, which he doesn't. He is building either Aghanims or BKB. Maybe he feels like he needs the BKB against the Disruptor.
On the Courier, yeah, it's going to be an Ogre Club. So it looks to be a BKB in all likelihood. There's a quad stack in the Ancients for Axe to take at some point in the game. But for now, I think EG is going to... Are they happy with the position they're in right now, or are they going to start pushing a bit with that Chen? Because the ganking are just getting more difficult and difficult.
I think they're feeling okay. They probably realize that this game is pretty even right now. It's about, they are a few hundred gold behind and a few hundred XP ahead, so kind of negligible. And for their game plan, the later they need to fight when they commit to a Midas build and Necro, I think the happier they are. So if they can just slowly just farm up, as we do see Sumail indeed building for the Yules with the Voidstone.
Look at this stack.
That's a lot of gold. He did go for the Vanguard, but when he gets a stack like this, I think it's okay. And the blink isn't going to be as late as I thought. He's, as a matter of fact, going to be pretty close to it after this. So Funnick with a very big comeback.
Yeah, he's going to have about 1,500, 1,600 gold.
Yeah, this is really good.
You can just go in the jungle for another minute or so and finish that bad boy up. But we have a smoke by AUI and PPD. Aoi has 4 creeps, 2 trolls. Dendi, if they can get the stun lock, potential for kill, especially with Shadow Fiend's raises, have just been decimating him this game. But he's playing extremely passive. Very smart play for Dendi. They're going to place a ward. Actually, that's EG's ward. And here they go. Kinetic field. He gets silenced. It's going to get glimpsed back. He does into the kinetic field. He is stuck in place. Right clicks are going to do a lot of damage, but the Grave is there. He's been really cocky.
Great play.
Gets the Sonic Wave off and falls very shortly after. AUI gets Berserker called. Funnick has the chop to finish him off. 1 for 2 right now as Chen did go down as well. Make it 3. EG getting destroyed in this fight. Fear trying to do as much damage as possible. He gets his ult off. He gets it onto the Axe. He's going to be down for 70 seconds. He is on the run right now with the support of Universe. And the healing ward will... Well, unfortunately, there's not enough mana for Navi to pursue any further.
Very nicely played by
Navi
culling
or Omni Slash.
The Grave by Godlike, well timed. They do get all their spells off. Axe comes in at the perfect time, catching off Chen, chops him down before he gets the ultimate off, which is a huge loss for EG. And then they continue into the fight, finding Sumail, bringing him down after the Requiem. And they can continue on. They get PPD as well. So I think that was a 3 for 2 overall. And as mentioned, Havost, he TPs for the kill. And nothing else. No, not going to actively search for ganks, just the counter ganks. He's back to farm. Takes a couple of creeps in the jungle on the way to bottom. Is going for a Yasha build up. Could be Sanjin Yasha, which I would say if you're getting this item, which I'm not a big fan of in general, but if you get it, you should get it when you're ahead. It's a momentum based item that's really good when you're dominant, so you can stay ahead. It's very effective in the moment and then falls off after 10 minutes. So if he gets the Sanjin Yasha right now, that would be great. Else, other builds that are usually picked up on Juggernaut in this order would be into an Eye of Skadi now, or the Manta, and then Abyssal Blade. It's the very classic pub Juggernaut build these days, and I think either is good. Looks like it's going to be the SY for Khvost.
It looks like it's going to be a Yules for both Sumail on the Shadow Fiend and for Fear on the Necro. So that
ways of dealing with Omnislash.
Yeah, absolutely. And well, it's such a good utility item in general. Like I feel like it's almost never a bad pick. I mean, sometimes maybe it is a bad pick on the core. We're gonna have initiation onto mid. Sumail, you're not gonna get any support from your team as the Culling Blade just chops him into pieces.
Meanwhile, Khvost, bot lane. I don't know if they can get this kill. They do have Static Storm. If they open with Hookshot into the Storm, here we go. They're going to do exactly that.
Cogs into Static Storm, like you talked about, Kinetic Field. They're trying to right-click. The Battery Cell doing a lot. And down he goes to the Reaper Scythe. 75 seconds on the deck.
Very nice. Just barely gets that Necrophos ulti off, but it is so important. They know it's completely unnecessary to get the kill.
What a KS.
Yeah.
The only here that's fine to KS with, right?
Yeah,
like maybe there's somebody else.
Deliberately just kill.
Like there might be
Shadow
one
Fiend
other.
sometimes, then you fill up your souls. That's also nice.
Okay.
But yeah, this is a great kill for Fear. I think they also rather have the kill gold on him than the Clockwork or a Disruptor. Fear needs to get big.
Are they going to give up this top tier 1? They're not even going to pop Fortification for it.
They didn't notice.
Free tower. Goes the way of AUI with that beautiful wolf.
They're pretty busy mid, but Khvost could have lifted. He is dead right now, so could have given him
Glimpse onto Goblack, but don't think EG wants to pursue. Hookshot's still down. Oh wow, Test of Fate almost brought him down actually. So right now AUI has a Wolf Commander. I don't even know what it's actually called. Alpha Wolf, right? And a couple Centaurs as well. Needs to get that 4th creep up and running. He's getting close to his mech. That'll be quite. Again, that's an item we just never see anymore. But in conjunction with the Necrophos, I have a lot of healing action going on.
Yeah, and with him getting that, then Shadow Fiend doesn't. And the question is what Sumail's build-up is. I think he needs to tank up more. He can't use Yules.
How about just Scotty right off the bat?
I think that would be a good choice.
Do you think it's a little risky to... I mean, it's actually not that bad of a build. I mean, it's a very expensive build-up, but he gets a lot of gold and gets it really fast. Fear, PPD, you're seeing the Yules come into play into a Static Storm. That's the combination they want to go for. Here's the hook shot. Universe finds Vanscore and Goblack in there. As Dendy's going to be the first to fall in this engagement. Dazzle could not even get off Grave in time. This is a disaster for Na'Vi as the Omnislash starts off on Illusions. It does a little bit damage to Fear, but not really enough. Fear does not have Reaper Scythe at the moment. Universe is stuck in its own cogs with Khvost, who gets the Blade Fury out. We're seeing Reckoning of Souls being used as well. Universe is going to TP out Khvost on the run. They lose 4. Khvost the only survivor, and they're going to clean up this tier 1.
So they don't lose 4.
What?
Khvost lived, you know?
Ah. That went right over my head.
Got him. Well, EG, they're going to claim 4 kills. Very important that the Grave doesn't come off. I think Na'Vi just also a little bit out of position there. Khvost pinged out. It was like he pinged himself. Hey, guys, I'm going to go on this with Omnislash. Then it was an illusion. Yeah. So he Omnislashed the illusion of SF, and then he unfortunately jumped onto the Clockwork that he couldn't really finish off. And Na'Vi just outplayed in that situation. They didn't get their abilities off, and EG, very good lineup at snowballing in fights. Once they get ahead, they can always glimpse targets back. They have Necrophos in the front lines dealing damage all the time. Shadow Fiend was untouched. And really, that was a big swing. That's got to put EG in a pretty favorable lead. Look at that gold graph.
It's going to give AUI his mech.
What a dip.
And the core items are going to... They're not going to stop. Another smoke picked up. Fear has his Blink Dagger. I love seeing Blink Dagger as second item. In all likelihood, will go for the Ags next, and that's when he becomes super scary once he has level 3 ult to go along with the Aghanim Scepter and good initiation possibilities. Tier 1 tower getting harassed a bit, but the Zoo of Aoi is there to defend. What is Dendy going for right now? Is he going for the Orchid?
BKB.
Oh boy, Goblack's going to get glimpsed. He's going to get stuck in the kinetic field. He graves himself. Static Storm being used from a defensive measure, and Goblack, poor guy, he actually goes down to the Reaper Scythe. that was like a 1 HP Reaper Scythe, I feel, but puts him on the deck for 60
doing a really
seconds.
good job at finishing these kills off with Fear, and then he's going to just That was the weirdest blink I think I've seen in my life.
Which one? Oh, Fear?
He blinked from here to here when they were going to do Rosh.
Oh, he double tapped it.
He must have double tapped, but that's a short range blink still. It still looks like. Okay, there we go. It's ready again. A little bit of a misclick. Doesn't matter at all though. Is back in the Rosh pit.
Oh, Funnick, he wants to go. He gets Yulesed. Sumail gonna find himself in that kinetic field with Funnick, and my god, they're just decimating him. He's gonna go down with that Requiem of Souls from Sumail. Gonna right-click Dendy. He's attempting to run away. He's gonna pop his wand. He's gonna live for now. Gets the Sonic Wave on 3 heroes. Universe is almost dead. Owie as well. The Scream of Pain finishes off 2. Universe now on the run. He's gonna pop his cogs. Dendy has a blink very shortly, 2 seconds. I'm not sure it's gonna be enough though.
He has a haste rune too. He's gonna go for it.
He does have a haste. He's gonna pursue. Nope. He thinks
Just kidding.
better
He's
of it.
not gonna go for it.
Fear buys back into the game. As we're seeing
Oh,
Scream
Dendy
of
needs
Pain
to be
used again.
careful.
Shadow Strike on a PPD. Fear does not have his ultimate, uses his Yules. Universe, you better be careful as well, buddy. Well, that Death Pulse is going to follow him.
He's
It
dead.
would be enough to get the kill.
Okay, this is actually going to be exciting.
Da,
He
da,
can tread
da,
switch
da,
and blink.
da, 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 da. Well, how far can he go? Well, he might want to... That's too clowny. They're going to get Rosh. So that's...
Jesus, Dendy. He has a blink again. He has enough mana regen to keep blinking
Yeah,
away
I
from
think
this
you're
one.
right.
He's
Where is
gonna
it?
live.
Where the hell is it?
It's here. Here we go. He might have outrun it entirely now, so it doesn't get invasion. Very nice escape. They get the Rosh too. That's Na'Vi getting right back in it with that team fight. Sumail, he got in behind enemy lines and got a decent Requiem off, but that also isolated him from his own team, and Khvost immediately caught onto it, ran the Shadow Fiend down, who doesn't stand a chance in a man fight right now, and got the kill.
Look at the graphs. Flip-flop just a bit. Both teams. I mean, it's pretty even still. After that fight, it evens it up a bit because EG was definitely having favorable advantage. But Rosh goes the way of Na'Vi. Couldn't ask for a better result. Blink Dagger, of course, on Axe. He's going for... Is that a hood he's going for? Into a pipe? Looks like
Well,
it.
if he isn't going for a hood, this is a casual cloak into Force Staff and
Yeah.
maybe a Vlad's.
And I have not seen pipe in a long
Me
time.
neither. It's really good this game, though. I'm glad to see them pick it up. I know it's kind of a running joke that commentators are like, pipe is the greatest item ever and teams should always be building it, which I think a lot of the times when it's talked about, it's not really merited, but in this game, it's just phenomenal. There is... The Static Storm always hits multiple targets, almost, in these fights. The Shadow Races, same story, and the Requiem. With an early pipe, I think Na'Vi have a 10-minute period in which they're just stronger in team fights, hands down. And the thing is, EG's lineup is not about bursting targets. That's one of the things pipe is bad against, is when you get picked off so fast that you don't even get to use it effectively. But EG's damage comes over time. The majority of it. Requiem is a burst, but he sets up for that. You get to see that you get the visual cue that he's blinking in and he starts Requieming, or Yules is, and very easy to get a pipe off. So I like the choice from Funnick a lot. I hope he upgrades it and doesn't just keep the hood for himself. And that's going to put Na'Vi in a really, really good position if they keep the momentum going. This is probably a tier 1 for them. They're currently trading for a tier 2 top, though, so not really the best of decision making, to be honest.
Yeah.
As they have a glyph, if they want to try to hold, they don't.
How many TPs? I mean, they have all their spells up too, but they're going to be content with the tier 1s for tier 2. And the question is, do they want to continue to push? And the Yules, as we saw, was picked up in a lot of ways to set up the Static Storm to the point where the kinetic field is pretty much guaranteed every single time, at least on one target. And it's pretty powerful combination. Not to mention Sumail being able to get in there with a Requiem of Soul, so he doesn't even... Oh, he has his Yules of his own. So they actually could set up for 2... Man, that is a disgusting combination now that I think about it. 2 Yules on 2 targets for a Static Storm / Requiem of Souls initiation.
It's like a mini Song of the Siren.
It's pretty sick. Uh-oh,
Sumail.
Universe. Oh, he could have canceled the TP, but didn't get there in time. Sumail now.
Could have also canceled that one. Funnick, he's supporting right next to him. He's like, oh, well. Maybe he might have not even seen him. The fog.
They just have a truce. Let us TP out. We'll
At
continue
daytime,
this
he
game.
hookshots that, I'm sure.
And Hood now officially onto Funnick. With 2 minutes left on the Aegis. He'll have pipe relatively shortly,
is
too.
getting really scary.
He's going to have just the recipe away.
This is the kind of Juggernaut I was expecting going into this tournament, that we would be seeing a lot. A safe lane Juggernaut that gets free farm because he's hard to contest, and then just gets ahead. Khvost has a 3k net worth lead down to the Necrophos. Currently sitting on Mask of Madness, Sanjin Yasha, Basher, probably turning either the Basher into an Abyssal Blade next, or building the Skadi and then finishing Abyssal after that. If he wants the Skadi, he probably buys an ulti orb now. So I think he's going for the big item, which obviously from a damage perspective, Abyssal Blade way better when you have a natural crit in the Blade Dance, 35% chance of double up. This Juggernaut they're gonna need to find a solution for Hvost. It's a pretty even game. They're 4,000 gold ahead and experience is 0, but as far as the Juggernaut, I don't feel like EG counterpicked him that much, and he was the 3rd pick for Navi.
I mean, they knew they were going to pick him up. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's not like just some random hero they picked up. So that's true. I mean, if they can get the jump on him with a Clockwork into Reaper's Scythe or something like that, then it's still technically possible. It's just very difficult considering that Navi has great initiation of their own.
And he has an Aegis now. So.
And Rubik, by the way, picked up a Blink. That's just showing you how much farm these supports have right now.
Next with the
And
pipe.
what kind of good steals can he take? Hook shot. He can steal Static Storm probably. That's actually because Kinetic Field is typically placed first, but not with this Yule's combination that they're doing now. You don't have to put the Kinetic Field down first.
It varies what way you do it. If you really need the silence fast, you generally drop the Storm first. But yeah, you're right. It's way easier for them to set it up with the Yules. Oh, maybe we're never going to get a fight again this game. The teams are just...
They're happy to just
just
trade
trading
towers.
towers.
Yeah. And Necro actually goes Ghost Scepter.
Yeah, he needs that.
Obviously very good against Omni Slash and the physical damage that comes from Navi in general. Do you think he...
Who's faster?
Yeah, I was going to say, this is...
I think EG are faster.
I mean, they have 3 big boy creeps from Chen.
One of them's a wolf.
And one of them is a wolf. You are correct. Hvost going to pop. Oh, Funnick's going to jump in onto PPD, Scream of Pain, and down he goes to the Culling Blade. So it's a 4v5 technically speaking, but still, Na'Vi getting outpushed, outmaneuvered with this Chen army. They are going to get the tier 3 top. Is this actually going to be a trade of racks, syndereN? Okay, we're going to have some TPs back as Universe and company. If you're looking for... That's a full racks bottom, though. Here's the initiation now. From Universe, he pops his Blade Mail, not going to do anything against Hvost's Blade Fury. Funnick gets a nice Berserker call. Static Storm plays with Kinetic Field. Universe is going to get 4-step out, but dies pretty much right off the bat. And down he goes. Necrophos gets Omni Slash to death. Did he not have Ghost Scepter? He must have used it earlier. So Mail gets Berserker call. He's going to go down. This is a disaster for EG. Despite losing, or despite getting the bottom racks, Na'Vi might be able to get more than just this top racks, although there are buybacks here. So Mail, that's one of the worst buyback heroes in the game, though. He respawns with half his soul, so his effectiveness is essentially, well, halved. Tier 2s are down for both mid and bottom. They can go for this.
Navi's going to get 2 lanes.
This is going to be 2 lanes of racks, perhaps. Necrophos is up in 50 seconds, and he didn't use his ult. Did you check if his Ghost Scepter was used? I'm so confused what happened there.
It was ready when he died. Or I checked 2 seconds after he died, and it was not on cooldown. So
Okay.
I don't know if... It didn't seem like he was caught by a stun. I think it might have just panicked a little bit or not realized Juggernaut was hitting him in the chaos of what was going on. That's a buyback from Necro.
Jumps in with his Blade Mail. Funnick stuck in the cogs. This might be the sacrificial lamb for Na'Vi, but Pipe is popped. He's going to survive a lot longer thanks to that grave. His blink is going to be up if he doesn't get hit, but no, the Necrophos ult is going to ensure that he goes down to the grave. 83 seconds on the deck. Gobak was trying to assist, but it's going to fall in the end. So they defend their mid-racks, but that was super scary for EG fans out there.
They paid their Shadow Fiend buyback and their Necrophos buyback to still lose a tier 3 tower. That's...
And Hvost has 6,400 gold right now.
60,000 million gold.
He can pick up any item he wants.
He's going to buy the Abyssal.
Think it's going to be Abyssal? Yeah.
And probably even, if he's extra greedy, he could send it back to the base for a little bit of an ulti orb upgrade. Which is an ulti orb itself. Or he could just buy it in the side shop if he wanted. Or alternatively, maybe he doesn't go for the Scotty. Maybe he goes...
Universe finds Vanscore. This is going to be an easy kill.
He could go full hard mode. Yeah, this is...
Battery Salt. Okay, he gets
maybe not.
Telekinesed.
He has Kinetic Field stolen.
4-staff cogs. And in comes...
Oh, look at it!
Fear.
That looks like a game of checkers. Now it's gone.
Thanks for that, syndereN.
Come on, or somewhat a chessboard. A little bit. The
Dendy's
white
gonna get the
squares of a
bounty rune.
chessboard.
So Dendy has BKB. He could
Oh,
use it here if he
he's
really wants to.
gonna.
He's gonna. Is that the 10-second?
It is the 9-second.
Oh, that was the
Now
9-second BK Bizzle. Okay. Fear's Reaper Scythe is now online again. He has the point booster, and this, despite EG being down right now, that Aghanim Scepter can turn this game in just one fight. I mean, that's
Yes.
how powerful that ultimate is. Oh, I like Blink Dagger on Hvost.
Yep, that was
I
an
mean, like,
alternative
if
we
you-
didn't mention.
If you get stuck in an Omni Slash on Fear, who has Ghost Scepter, you can just blink out and just go for
Yeah.
somebody else. I mean,
Alternative would have been Diffusal, which also gives him damage
That's true.
and stats.
Oh,
but
that's a good point, actually.
But the nice thing about the blink is that if you're about to kill off a target with Omnislash and the Omnislash would end in the air, you can jump to the next target when you see it happening. That's a really nice boon. It also makes him have an easier time split pushing in general. He's going to move faster, of course, just blinking across the camps and feel safer from ganks in general. But if he gets jumped by the clockwork, that blink isn't going to do anything for him. But then he can just Omnislash.
Shadow Fiend not saving for buybacks. He's going to get his butterfly right now. And probably the right choice, considering that he just bought back, so it's on cooldown.
I honestly don't know if this item build from Sumail in this game is good enough.
What, a Blink, Yule's, Butterfly.
Yeah.
Do you think a Scotty would have been pretty good here? I mean,
it kind of feels
really nice.
It kind of feels a little bit autopilot to me, as I call it, when you just go the same build as always, and you have like a standard way of playing the hero, and you just kind of do it every single time, regardless of what you're against. I haven't really seen this build in this game be that useful, to be honest. I think raw brute force fighting power instead of both the Blink and Yule's could have been perhaps better, or some sort of health. Because sure, the Butterfly is nice at evading some of Juggernaut's attacks. He still dies to a full Omnislash, even with the evasion, so it doesn't really matter. He could have got a Ghost Scepter and built an E-Blade instead. Then he could have E-Bladed himself, maybe gets an ultimate off. Maybe that puts him in a better position in the fight. We'll see if this Butterfly turns out to be the right
Even a
choice.
BKB on the Dazzle. This is insane.
Really? Oh, God.
Jesus.
Okay.
I can't remember the last time I've seen that.
No,
PPD
that's
and Company
very rare.
want to defend this
Oh,
Roche,
Funnick.
but Funnick and Company want to go on top of EG. As Dendi gets a Shadow Strike on PPD, he's going to get glimpsed back, but Universe taking a ton of damage. The cogs are not going to save you. The negative Uncharge might be enough. He's bottling up. He might live through this. He has the TP. I think he's going to be okay somehow. And back he goes. So somehow, some way, no casualties in that other than Roshan.
Still a pretty big casualty, but
He's a big boy.
in a sense it was expected Na'Vi got this anyway. So I don't know if you can call it the loss
Look
for
at how
EG.
many
It's
wards
kind of
EG
inevitable.
has compared to...
Yeah.
Look at
they
the-
do have some decent vision.
Both teams have very aggressive wards as bottom lane is
Back up.
continuing to push in.
Sumail's going to use the flutter. He's going to surf across the water really quickly. Now he's not so fast, but got way out of harm's way, away from Navi's side of the map. And yes, they lose the Roche. Now comes the real challenge for Na'Vi. This is about getting the second set of racks. Because I think if you just play safe now and just play a farming game, the imminent Necrophos Yules becomes...
Oh my. Is he dead?
Wait.
Shadow Strike
He could
ticks.
TP.
Oh, he's
Hand of
fine.
God.
There you go.
Yeah. Is that... I feel like we haven't barely seen that this game. Hand of God.
Hand of God, yeah, that's true. Well, he's been like just focused down for the
Yeah.
most part. I mean, Axe is such a good counter to that hero. Aghanim Scepter, there we go. For fear.
Yeah, that was the
That is
imminent item
their
I wanted
that
to
is their main hope for survival in this game.
So the longer Na'Vi wait, the Aegis is like their biggest ticket to ending the game. Because then the Necrophos ult cannot remove Juggernaut from the game for 2 minutes, but rather just take him down. They cannot afford... If they use Reaper's Scythe on Hvost's Aegis, I think they lose the game.
It's a waste. You can't do that.
They're gonna need to get a hero out who can't buy back and come back. Because
Right.
that's another thing. If they kill Hvost, even kill him twice, if they focus him early, he can probably still buy back and buy Boots of Travel at this rate. So...
Right.
This is scary. Yep, that is true. He does have a Black King bar. Dazzle got it. Very true.
Thanks, Brian.
Yeah,
Wink, wink.
Brian. That's a good idea. If you sit in Brian's chair, just make him look bad on camera. That's good.
Exactly.
It totally was Brian.
Oh, BKBs galore. Gonna be picked up by Na'Vi. They have 2 right now, but do you think more BKBs would be the right choice for Na'Vi? Just against the Reaper Scythe. That's actually Necrolite taking a ton of damage from Hvos. He took the Omni Slash.
gonna
Funnick, can
blink
he get the
call.
Culling Blade? Is it going to be enough? Static Storm's going to silence him completely. A self-Yules by Fear going to keep him alive, and he's going to heal up thanks to that
Na'Vi,
Death
you're in
Pulse
a
of
pretty
his.
bad position.
Yeah,
You need to get the
Funnick
hell
heals
out
now.
of there.
Sumail
Glimpse.
wants to get the Requiem of Souls, but he gets Berserker called. Right click's definitely going to suffice, and I don't know why I always say that. I never actually know. Glimpse is down, but there's the Reaper Scythe. It's going to be
brave!
saved. Great save from Dazzle. As
That
Funnick.
was last.
Okay, so now that Reaper Scythe is down, but Omni Slash is down as well, but still, is this the push that you want as Na'Vi?
I know. What else did EG use? They used Static Storm. They did not use Requiem.
Well,
They used Hookshot and Hand of God. There's a
Yeah,
lot of
pretty much
abilities used. I
everything.
think they can actually go. They still have the healing ward up and running. Everyone is back to full health. Goblak did not use his BKB, so he'll be able to BKB Grave pretty much guaranteed. Which is, of course, the reason he did pick it up was to counter out the Static Storm and the Requiem on himself, and as well as the The
Oh,
Necrol, if
Universe
he
is
wanted
gonna
it's gonna
hook
go
shot in. Phonic stuck inside the cogs with the blade mail. He's at half health to begin with. Sumail gets a nice Requiem of Souls. It's gonna reduce a lot of damage, but Dendy's BKB is doing some work here. PPD on the run, along with AOI at half HP. Fear, if he goes down, this could be game. Chop is incoming very shortly. He's gonna go down.
They got the.
That is two
SF
dead.
as well.
That is Sumail and Fear on the deck with no buybacks. Could this be EG's first loss of the tournament? PPD puts down a desperation static storm, which will actually work.
He's still gonna die to poison. Oh, hand of God. Same as
Hand
last
of
time.
God. But they're going to get at least 2 racks, if not more. And GG's come out. Looks like I'm wrong yet again.
You're actually the ultimate. You're the
I'm the
ultimate
jinx.
caster curse
It's
of this tournament.
like you guys just pick the opposite of me and you'll do well.
Well, yeah, that's true. I should have called Navi for this. It was even a 3-for-1, right?
I know, it was.
We got 3-to-1 odds if Navi won. Everyone still picked EG.
Not everybody.
Yes.
Somebody.
Everyone was
What?
wrong.
No. Somebody picked Navi.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Merlini took it because of the
So
odds.
Merlini probably, even though he didn't participate in the first 2 days, probably has the lead over me. That's
He's-
excellent.
He has half your points in one bet.
Yeah, well, that's how it goes sometimes.
He might overtake you if you're not careful. Still, but man, this is another Navi than in the first 2 days. Or
Yeah.
in the first day, rather. They're really getting there.
They took that window of opportunity and went with it. I mean, because if this went extreme late game, I feel like EG's lineup is just dirty. Dirty. Anytime a Necro gets something past an ag, like the item after the Ags is when he just starts becoming almost unstoppable. Welcome back, friends. Friends and foes.
Howdy.
How did you enjoy the game, Bruno?
I really enjoyed it, even though I lost my
Yeah,
bet.
Me too. Nothing new for me,
Me
though.
too. We
It
always
was
lost.
pretty impressive.
It's
Again-
kind of one of those like we're happy even though we lost our bets.
Yeah.
Because it's Navi.
Because
that
Gryffindor
bounced
won.
back. Yeah.
It's good for the tournament. I'm
Yeah,
halfway
great for
on
the
another
tournament.
bet I made. It's not a bet, but a bold prediction. I said both Secret and EG were going to lose today. 1 down, 1 to
Okay.
go.
1 down, 1 to go.
Secret, unfortunately for me, are however facing MVP Phoenix
Yes.
as one of their next opponents.
And then Newbie, I think.
Is it really?
I think
They
it's
could
Newbie.
lose that. They
Yeah, I
could
mean,
lose that.
they
You never
could.
know.
I get 10-to-1 odds on Newbie. I'm going to go for them. You said that earlier. It's going to be 10-to-1 odds. Or was
10
that
to 1
MVP?
odds.
You said
No,
8 to 1.
MVP.
8 to 1.
I'm going to take that. This is the day of surprises. It's going to happen.
That
We'll
Newbie
see.
beat Secret.
We'll
It's
see.
going to happen.
We'll see. But anyways, very well played. Axe proving once again that it's a very strong hero.
What's the win rate of that hero now?
I
It's got to be
think
like
it's
80%.
I
We've
think
seen
now
it win
it's
twice on the mainstream today, so.
I think
It's
it's something
incredible.
like 11-3 right now. It used to be 9-3, I think.
Has it
Yeah.
only been picked 14 times? I know it's been banned a lot. It's also got through a lot.
Brian is checking right now.
12 times on the first 2 days. I'm not sure about the other games going on.
13 and 4.
13-4, 17
Okay.
times.
What's the win rate on that? 70 what percent?
22?
13 out of 17. What's that?
22.
76% win rate. That's
Pretty good.
extreme.
Yes.
Okay, and a bonus question. Which teams lost with it?
Newbie, and Newbie.
An MVP.
And MVP.
I think Rave lost with it one game, I believe. Didn't they
I
have
think,
X
yeah.
the game they lost against
Yeah,
EG?
Rave lost yesterday with it once.
Yeah.
At least.
Interestingly enough, it was not only the axe. The Queen of Pain pick was really good for Dandy.
Yes.
Not only because it fit the game very well, but also because Dandy, he's so good in that kind of heroes. Like, if you give Dandy a farming hero like a Morphling Me, he's not going to do particularly well. But if you give him his Queen of Pain, his Pack, these guys that have a lot of mobility, he's going to feel right at home right there. There was one Sonic Wave where he pretty much cleared the whole Chen army and just goes into taking a huge team fight, and that's the moment where Navi started snowballing, and then suddenly EG didn't find any answers. A couple of Reaper sites that they got on Axe were not enough.
And another really important thing about this game that I think a lot of people have been looking for is Goblak has been getting a lot of criticism for his drafting being subpar and him not playing as well as he drafts.
Yeah.
I think this was a good performance from him. I think that Dazzle had a couple of really key plays in the game. I think, the Grave in the end is one example, which I think maybe was a great play but not necessary in comparison to the rest of the game. He's in the right places at the right time. Good spell usage, not really getting caught out. I think he got solo killed once in mid, which can happen. Apart from that, played a solid game. The draft works. It's a hero that speaks to his strengths too. I think you find Goblak at his best on defensive supports. Dazzle and Abaddon
Abaddon, Tree.
are probably
Yeah.
Treant are the ones kind of similar to PPD in that regard, I guess. They kind of share hero pools to some extent.
What did you guys think of the racks
Really
for
worked
racks
out well.
exchange and then EGTP
Yeah.
back panicking and then
It
died?
brought me flashbacks of TI3. TA3
yeah.
Game 5 versus Alliance, you know,
Oh.
is Navi hesitating, should we push, should we back? They actually stay and push, and it's EG the ones that hesitate.
What happens if EG stays?
Well, did they get the could they have gone for mid racks? Because I think the tier 2 mid towers maybe soft.
Well, I mean, they could have gone for throne if they really wanted
Yeah.
to.
I don't think they're ever gonna. Navi would never let them get the throne. So
They would have forced TP
But,
back
forced
at
them
least.
back.
yeah, force the TP
I
back.
I think it was a game of chicken, and EG lost that game of chicken.
Mm.
Yeah.
I also think that they were expecting to get something back, and the inability for Necrophos to buy back really hurted them, because when Necrophos died, he has 20-25 seconds left in the buyback timer, so they have to wait. And it's actually that which also saved their mid lane barracks.
Barracks.
Because they
That's
were
right. God, it's not called Raxes. It's called Rax.
I'm
Racks.
cold. I won.
That's how I feel.
Look at that Hufflepuff tough guy. Feeling Hufflepuff?
I am.
Yeah.
but yeah, because they don't see the Necrophos, they don't see the buyback. They're pretty sure the Necrophos doesn't have one, and they don't focus any of the Raxes. They just started hitting some each, some the other one. The Necro actually gets the timer, buys back, both barracks survive. In the end, it's not enough for EG, but that was a mistake that could have costed Navi, because at that point, EG
Yeah.
was not entirely out of the game.
In hindsight, when the teams were pushing each other's bases, EG were actually leading the exchange.
They
right?
were faster.
They got the racks down around the time Navi destroyed the tier 3.
Yes.
So that's where they have a
Cool.
wolf creep, they have a shadow fiend hitting really hard. If they push for tier 4, so the idea for them, I think, was that they thought they could TP back and maybe even hold the top barracks, but when they arrived, the melee barracks were already down pretty much. It's really difficult in those situations to make the right calls. I think the game can go differently if they push on. Navi have to come back there. They're going to lose the
I think
base.
the argument against it is that SF, his itemization, he didn't have much damage. He had those blink yules. Also, they got the racks and the towers so fast because they had a creep wave. Your creeps then, after you kill the racks, your creeps don't suddenly go for the tier 4 towers.
That's true.
They're sitting around hitting huts. So all they would have had was the SF damage, some Chen creeps, and the SF's not hitting hard. So I don't actually think they would have posed like an immediate threat on the tier 4 towers and the throne. I think it would have been a very slow thing, and Navi could have almost gotten full racks and even part of the mid lane, and then TP'd back and easily defended. So I don't know if it was. I mean, I think they could
It's
have.
so tough.
It's just
in this
like
call.
you force Navi to make a tough decision. Okay, they're going for our throne. We got to like your immediate response is generally okay. We TP back now, but I think it does make it a bit harder for Navi. I just don't think I think EG are just like we have no damage. How are we getting? We're not getting the throne. From their point of view, there was no way they were ever going to get the throne there.
And with that, Navi gets their 5th win in a row. After starting 0-3, they go
Oh my
5-3.
gosh.
They do a speed gaming.
Yeah.
That's a speed gaming. MLG Columbus, they were 0-3, they go 5-3. Unfortunately for them, this isn't over yet. They still have to go play, but they must be really, really happy, because now I think they are top 5. From going to last place to top 5 is something great for Navi, a team
Yep.
that everyone kind of discarded after the end of day 1. For EG, this is not a big loss, because they're still 7-1. They're doing very well.